So something I was thinking about a lot, society without God, and a lot of Phil Zuckerman's work centers on secularism. And something that I found to be so interesting about this concept, and what I think a lot of people who maybe don't practice the Christian faith in American society, their repulsion and their revolt against Christianity, i.e., religion, which yes, like prayer and things like that would be considered religious practices, although it's not necessarily religion and it's not what Christianity premises on. Um, Christianity is more so about living a disciplined lifestyle of like character, integrity, being a good person, doing the right thing, etc., i.e., righteousness. But something that I find to be so interesting is I think a lot of people think that it is Christianity that corrupts people and that it creates this sense of repression in people that then makes them go out and want to do like heinous things and just be someone who lives a life of duality, which although there could be some truth to that when you consider religion, but that's not Christianity, right? Jesus was not even for religion. Jesus did not even like the Pharisees, right? And they were very religious. And so what I find to be very interesting, and even in the work of Phil Zuckerman, is that it's actually not Christianity that I think creates like repression in people. I actually think because when you think about Christ, it's like Holy Trinity, you know what I mean? Like three, and then there's you, right? And so it's really like a personal relationship, but it's religion that then kind of creates a little bit of like rules and regulations that I think sets people up to be a little bit more dishonest. But again, that's not Christianity. That's not what Jesus was for. And so I say this to say that I don't think, I actually don't think that a society without God is needed in order to have better individuals, right? In order for people to conduct themselves in a way to where they do the right thing, right? Moralistically, I do believe that you get a lot of your morals and values from the people that raised you. And when you look at society by large, and if you've ever spent time in underserved communities or if you just spent time in the world in general, you'll actually come to find that a lot of people have not been raised. I think having parents who are responsible and so forth are a bit of a privilege, especially in American society, because we have to prioritize work and provision. And a lot of times that comes at child rearing. And so I think what religion and Christianity does when you start talking about this byproduct, right? These individuals in mass who are corrupt, who are evil, right? And I don't want to say evil because I think just for this context, like that sounds a little inappropriate, but maybe not evil, but just inherently are not good people who don't have morals, who don't have integrity, who are, deceptive in all of the ways, right? Who are not honest. I think that's a byproduct of being able to wiggle your way into Christianity and kind of wear it as a mask, right? Like, I don't think that Christianity creates bad people. I think it gives bad people an opportunity to show up and present themselves as people who have all of these values of this practice, right? But they don't actually live it. And so to say you're a Christian or to practice the Christian faith or to be within religious communities, just on average, you get a pass, right? You are then someone who is kind of like given the opportunity to be good and to be seen as good and to be categorized as good and all these different things without actually having to have any of those internal qualities, right? You don't really have to prove yourself when you say, hey, I'm a Christian. So I do think that is probably that's really the byproduct of it. I think it's just more so like it gives people an opportunity to just be like terrible people. But I don't think that it creates terrible people, especially when it's something that is genuine. Now, when we look at today, this is also something that made me kind of look into this work because I feel like when we look at where we are today in society, it doesn't surprise me that more people are becoming more and more narcissistic. When I think about our communities at large, right? Like when you take patriarchy and you take millionaires and you take these values that are then passed on to the general public, the idea is that if you can just become rich, you then can garner all of these different things. And I talked about this, how my critique with celebrities and so forth, because when it comes to celebrities, when it comes to rich people on average, right, they too can then garner a lot of positive characteristics, right? A lot of positive projections that are then put onto them. And so I think that's really what it is that people are really seeking in regards to a platform. I do think in part it's security, but not really, because I think if you are someone who, generally, if you have some type of financial literacy, which is something that America has deprived its citizens of, right? Just given institutionalized learning. But if you have some level of financial literacy, you can kind of garner a sense of security about your finances and your lifestyle. So I think in general, it's more so a matter of narcissism. And the reason why we do kind of have a bit of a like narcissistic epidemic is because it is the main character and quality that is valued. It is the main characteristic that actually will get you the things that you desire in life, right? It's the things that will get you the wealth, the partner, everything that it is that you desire. And so when you have that, then in general, it's not that you need a society without God to have good people, but it's very clear that in order to survive and to rather acquire a bit of the American dream in modern society today, that's the price. The price is narcissism. The price is to be someone who is inherently not a good person, right? There's no reward for being somebody who has integrity and someone who is moralistic. And you'll kind of hear this too if you silently, don't take like with a grain of salt, if you listen to a lot of males, right? Men who have been hurt. Somewhere along the lines, they told themselves that if they were good, they would be rewarded. But it's not just men. I think it's men and women, right? When you listen to relational conversations just in mass, right? You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, well, women and then men, et cetera, et cetera. If you really get to the crux of it, it's really this thing of like, I thought being a good person was enough. And you're going to find that that's not the case for modern society. And so, yeah.